Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of the Booze Briefing. My name is Scott and I've got a guest for the second fucking time today. Yeah, second time. Why? Because I fucked up. And you know what? I'm all about accountability, if nothing else. I mean, it really was kind of his fault, but I have to say it was mine just because that's what leaders do. But that's okay. That's okay. At any rate, I am very pleased to welcome for the second fucking time today, the second time for me, first time for you, the Wrangler by which all other Wranglers in the world are measured. The man, the myth, the legend, the Kentucky Wrangler, Eric fucking Howard. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, and I guess we're into blaming the victim, are we?
Well, you know what? I mean, are you better now than you were the first take? Because when I didn't hit the record button, I mean, we're two bourbons down each. This will be a better show.
Yeah, that was harsh. That was okay. But
you know, that was the pregame. I mean, that's all. You know, we got a couple of bourbons in us now. We're good, right? You got your cigar smoldering over there still, so we're good, right? You know, there we go. Yeah.
Keep it on.
Yeah. So, guys, we literally recorded, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes, whatever it was. Great interview, joking, having a good time, telling stories, doing all this stuff. And I get up and I'm like, oh, this is great. And I go over there and look, and I forgot to hit the record button on Riverside. So my phone was recording. Anyway, what a shit show. Basically, this was a grade A military shit show.
I mean, that's some PFC level shit right there.
It really, you know what? It truly is. It is not befitting of someone of my esteemed rank of command private major. So I got people who will deal with that. They'll take care of it, though. We'll make it right. Anyway, Eric, you and I've known each other for 5 or 6 years now, and we've shared a lot of stories and stuff together. But for the purpose of entertaining our audiences and enlightening them as to the journey that the Wrangler has taken in his life, in his military journey, why don't you give us a rundown of your service and kind of how all that stretched out?
Joined the United States Army in 1985. Went to basic training in the summer of '85. They had like the split option if you're still in high school. Came back, completed my senior year of high school. That next summer went to AIT. Decided that I really enjoyed it, and I'd been in reserves. The year previous, attending drills and whatnot.
Now with that split option in your junior year, were you 17 as you finished up your junior year?
Yeah. I got a waiver. Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, my mom was like, "Go ahead."
You shifted to active duty, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I decided to go to active duty. Went to active duty. As part of my enlistment, I said I want to go to Germany. I'm like, all right, fine. Here you go. Went to Germany, and my first duty station was 32nd INCOM, assigned to a security force, a company strong security force for a Patriot missile system.
Okay.
So each company had headquarters, and you had 3 line batteries, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and they each had a platoon of infantry to provide security, permanent security for their units.
Now, what did that entail, by the way? Because when I think ADA guys, air defense guys, Patriots, Hawks, anything like that, I don't think of them as actually ever leaving their firing line. It seems to me they were always out at the Hawk TAC site or the Patriot TAC site, and that's kind of where they stayed.
That is exactly where they stayed on their individual sites throughout West Germany. There,
Yeah.
And the headquarters, the FTC, was actually located right there on our home base was Giebelstadt Army Airfield, for 3rd ID, and so I was assigned to FTC. So I mean, I primarily I stayed there, whereas these other they would have to go to these remote locations, and they had barracks and everything there.
Right.
And they would rotate their security forces to back to Giebelstadt to give them some time off, or then put them back out there for a week and back for a week or whatever. But we always stayed right at Gieb, which is just like a typical army base. I mean, I'd gotten married at the time, and I'd come in from formation, do my PT, do my normal work day, go home. But then there were, when I had duty, then it was you had 24 on, 24 off.
So what were you guys doing for fun at Gieb? It's a typical Tuesday, it's a Friday, whatever the hell it is. You're not on duty. You're not on a 24-hour type watch or anything, right? What are you doing for fun there?
Yeah, I mean, you had the only thing on Gieb was they had the original bowling alley, but then they had a year or so later
yes.
after
the old
getting
Afy's bowling alley.
yes, the infamous bowling alley.
Wait, I can see it. I can see it now with the television up in the corner, that big CRT television playing. What was that fucking band with Tawny Katane flipping around on the hood of the car? David Coverdale, Whitesnake, Here I Go Again on loop.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
And every Afy's, I heard that song a million times when I was in, because that video, people would always request that fucking song. Yeah. And they were playing that video on the screen just to see Tawny Katane flipping around on the hood of that car. Yeah.
Exactly.
At the bowling alley, yeah.
So I mean, this was a real small. I mean, that was at the time. That was like a World War II bowling. I mean, it was just a small concrete building, and then they built a big, larger facility with 20 lanes and whatever. But
oh wow, 20 lanes! How many people were at Giebelstadt? That's huge.
That's all. Huge. That's all there was to do in Gieb.
But I mean, when you went out on the economy, you went to the town, little village. They had to have some kind of.
Yeah. I mean, when I was still single, I mean, I was only single in Germany for about 3 months. But
oh boy, you missed out.
We catch cabs and go to Würzburg, which is the next biggest city. Gieb was just a village back then, but we'd go to Würzburg, Leighton Barracks, or we just go to we'd go to the Green Goose or some other club.
The Goose is loose. I was a DJ at the Green Goose, not at the one in Würzburg, but the one in Schweinfurt. I was a DJ there for a while. Yeah, after I got out. Yeah, I stayed over there for about 6 months. Yeah. In fact, the other day I managed to connect on Facebook with the expat who was living in Schweinfurt. John Frem was his name. Good dude. His brother Gerard Frem was there with him. He was the DJ. He was an American expat. He lived there. He was our age. He was in his early 20s, and he was the DJ at the Goose. But he couldn't work every night, so we got to talking to him. He's like, yeah, you want to work a few nights down at the Goose spinning records? I said, yeah, sure. So, we worked out a deal. And so he trained me. I finally connected with him on Facebook the other day. I haven't talked to him in, 38 years. So we're gonna hook up pretty soon and shoot the shit. Yeah, the Green Goose. Wow.
Speaking about Schweinfurt, I think Schweinfurt had the same thing as Giebelstadt, but Giebelstadt during World War II they still exist.
The tunnels?
To the best of my knowledge, they had these underground tunnels.
Yeah, the tunnels. Yeah, they would
actually bring the aircraft down and maintain them under, and then they bring them up, and then they have the room and they take off.
They had tunnels in Schweinfurt. We had 2 casernes, which is unique somewhat in Schweinfurt, because usually you would have like a caserne in a particular city that would house a unit or 2. We had 2 big casernes. I say big casernes. They're all about the same size. We had Kahn Barracks and Ledward Barracks. Ledward was the original German. We talk back World War II. Ledward, about 2 miles from Schweinfurt, was where it was a Panzer Kaserne. So they had tanks there in World War II, German tanks. Kahn was a Stuka base, was a Stuka dive bomber base, and they used it as a training base to train new pilots as well. Right, but there were tunnels that ran from Kahn Barracks 2 miles away to Ledward Barracks, and what was. And supposedly they ran down also to I don't know if they ran to the ball bearing factories in Schweinfurt, which was a big target of ours during World War II. We tried to blow them up several times, but there were definitely tunnels from one caserne to the next.
Right.
And but they had them sealed off. We couldn't go in there. So I don't know what was down there. We heard all these folklore about, what was down there, but, who knows if that was true or not. I don't know.
Yeah, these tunnels were running, well, and a lot of them have been destroyed and whatnot. I mean, but you can still a small portion of them. But they appeared to have been running from like the barracks area out to the airfield to maintain things and
Okay, so it was more of a localized thing.
yeah,
Right there, yeah, right there.
Is small. Gieb is
Yeah,
small.
Giebelstadt is small. Yeah, now that was
And
a big runway because I think
it's no longer existent. I mean, nature has taken over. It's gone.
I know
now.
it's kind of sad when we think about all those posts that there were hundreds of American posts and concerns and things like that in Germany back then, West Germany. It's kind of sad in a way to think that they're all just kind of lost to time for the most part, you know. In fact, Con Barracks, when they finally turned it over to the Germans started rehabbing it and trying to do things with it. And the asphalt in some places was compacted up to a depth of 3 meters.
Wow.
It was either a meter or 3, maybe no, it may have been 1 full meter, over the 70 years of by that point, of heavy tanks and things like that rolling over the concrete, the asphalt and stuff. So yeah, so those bases are gone. So you were in Germany for what, 2 or 3 years? I think you were in Germany, right?
Three years. Yeah, my original contract was for 2 years, but then after I got married, even though the dependent was already there, another Army soldier, she worked with the Patriot system. You still had to extend for a 3 year, and so.
Okay. Now what happened next? I heard there was a little fisticuffs in the desert there that kind of threw a
little fisticuff in the desert there. Well, I was scheduled to go back to the States in June of that, which I was scheduled to go to Fort Lewis. My orders changed a month beforehand, and got sent to Fort Campbell. We were at Fort Campbell for 1 month, damn near to the day.
Wow.
And then Iraq invaded Kuwait in '90, and on August 21st, I was on a plane bound for Saudi.
Yeah. Wow. Now, you were being in the 101st. The one thing I think that most even armchair historians know about the Gulf War. And by the way, that was the best way. You want a textbook example of how to conduct a war with established goals? The Gulf War did it. We got in, we annihilated the shit out of them. That was it. It was over, and everybody came. That was it. We came home. Overwhelming force. We ain't fucking around. Here it is. We're putting it out there, right? Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Going, right? I mean, it was perfect. But
right.
you were in the 101st, so you were in at that time the largest mobile air assault in history. The entire 101st moved via helicopter in that war. On the left, was it on the left flank? Yeah.
Yeah. It was over on the left, bit of a left
hook. The left hook, yeah.
And
now, what was that like, looking out of the bird?
And that was, at that time, that was the largest, air assault that had been done. Yeah. And the entire division. Here we go. And,
now, what was that like, looking out of the windows and looking at birds to your left and your right?
I mean, you have. I mean, when you're on like your first chalk and whatnot. I mean, you're out there flying around and you're just training and you're like, wow, look at that. There's a helicopter over there. There's one back there. They're staggered. Oh, this is fucking cool, But yeah, when you're looking and because we actually got delayed because of a sandstorm.
Okay.
So we were flying in, and I mean, you can see all the birds. It was crazy.
I bet it was nuts. It was one of those things you just have a soundtrack in your mind as you're looking around, like you're hearing this music in your head. You know
exactly. I mean, everybody. I mean, Fortunate Son, Flight of the Valkyrie.
Oh yeah. The whole nine. Oh yeah. That must have been so. You get through that dust up over there, and it was. Look, it was a one-sided ass kick, and that's all I can say.
And thankfully so. I mean,
absolutely, yes, absolutely. And we realized that all of Reagan's toys that he gave us worked extremely well, better than anyone ever thought they would.
Well, and I will also say it is the first time that GPS was used.
That's true. It was. And we're going to put a missile right through that, not only just that window in that building, but that window pane And it goes, yeah, I mean, that was the smart bomb. That was the advent of the smart bomb. I was seeing all this stuff in action. The M1 tank, the Apache helicopter, the A-10, all this stuff, the Tomahawks, you fill in the blank. They were all,
Well, ground units, right? The commanders having GPS handheld.
Absolutely, yeah, GPS nav and everything else, right? Yeah. All of those toys worked, and unfortunately for the Iraqis, they realized that Soviet doctrine and equipment did not work as well.
Not so much.
And a lot of people that you know, because you were over in West Germany during the Cold War, started rethinking things like, were the Soviets really that? I mean, sans the nukes, if you took their nukes out of the equation, I mean, were they a paper tiger? I don't know. The world, thankfully, we'll never know, but, I mean, you start thinking about things, right?
Compared to the United States, they all are. We allow them to think they're not.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So you ended up coming home after all that mess was done, right, over there?
Yeah. Came home while I was over before Desert Storm. It was just Desert Shield. We'd actually purchased a home up in Minnesota.
Okay.
So my wife and the two sons had moved into that home, and so got
now,
divorced.
Did she make it to the Gulf or the Gulf, the Desert Storm, or did she stay home?
Funny story about that. Well, she had gotten pregnant with a second son, and she decided to get out.
Okay.
On maternity, right? So she got out on medical, but the Army Department of Defense actually did send her papers saying, "Hey, you need to be ready to go because you're in high demand." I
got one of those too.
Patriot missiles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she got more paperwork saying, disregard, your medical records show that you're pregnant.
So
blah blah blah.
So they jumped the gun at first.
She was pregnant. Yeah, she was pregnant like 4 years ago. No, idiots.
Oh wow. Okay, so they got their wires crossed a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I got one of those letters too. Hey, you're still in the IRR and, the individual ready reserve. And by the way, you're in a MOS that we may be very interested in pretty soon. And I'm sitting here going, fuck, here I go, right? Yeah. Right. So luckily it was over. Luckily, I mean, look, you guys did a bang up job. You know who did a bang up job, to be honest with you? It was the fucking Air Force. Holy shit.
Well,
the Air Force oh my God. It was the biggest one-sided ass kicking in the history of fucking warfare right there. I mean, it was insane. Watching. That was the first time we all saw that, the fucking smart bombs and you see there's some shit and it just blows up. There's some shit that blows. I mean, it was insane watching this.
It was the first time they actually had, you weren't watching films that were taken, days ago. You were watching like live this minute.
You're watching live, right? Yeah. It was incredible. So you got out. You ended up going out to Arizona, didn't you? You ended up out there.
Got out. November 1st of 91. The Minnesota Halloween blizzard of 91 had just hit the day before, and they were buried in 4 feet of snow. Still,
wow.
Drove home, went off the road. Some buddies came and picked me up, got me home. Was raised my family there. Was married for 20 years, I believe. Anyway, divorced. But I'd been then went to Arizona and then now Kentucky.
Yeah. So now you're in Kentucky. Now, how did you become the Wrangler? Because because you're from Maine, so the Maine Wrangler doesn't really, that kind of sounds weird. The Minnesota Wrangler sounds like a wrestler. The Arizona Wrangler doesn't even make sense. Like, how did you become the Kentucky Wrangler?
Well, it was a nickname that your mom gave me. But truthfully, you were doing one of the booze briefings, and you're making some kind of cameo. Hey, Eric, recommended this bourbon or this dunkable or whatever, and you're like AKA the Kentucky Wrangler.
You know what?
You tell me where it came from.
But it works for you, dude, because you got the Gandalf beard, which you said took you like 5 years
So why not call me Gandalf?
That's too obvious. That's too.
Right.
It doesn't have panache.
Kentucky Wrangler has a bit of
like
bravado.
the Middle Earth Wrangler doesn't have the same ring as the Kentucky Wrangler, right? So speaking of Dunkables, because you mentioned Dunkables, I am sitting here
Dunkables.
with my nice pour of Basil Hayden Toasted, which is just phenomenal, by the way. I've done this on the Booze Briefing before. I got a Nutter Butter here. I'm going to dip in some of this Toasted, which I think I've tried before, but it's so good, man. You got something there you want to dunk? What are you dunking over there?
I do. Well, first off, I'm dunking Angel's Envy.
Yep.
And got me an Oreo.
Oh, those are great. It's a little different than the Nutter Butter. You've tried the Nutter Butters. You said you liked them.
I've had the Nutter Butter with you. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It was wonderful.
Little different on the Oreos there.
Mm-hmm. Chocolatey.
It's chocolatey, but it's got a little refreshing bit of. It's kind of refreshing in a way.
Yeah. And then right about now, you can feel the heat of the bourbon.
Yeah, it kind of delays it a little bit. It kind of hits you a little bit later.
Just delay it.
Now, if you had to choose between, I mean, the Oreos are great, but if you had to choose the Nutter Butters or the Oreos, what are you putting your money on?
Oh man, you're so fucking close. I hate to break with tradition, but I like the Oreo.
Oh, he's going to go with the Oreos. That's awesome, though. The Oreos are great. Have you tried the Biscoffs yet? Because that dimwit had me do the Biscoffs. Oh, can you get them there? I don't know if you can get them where you are, because you're out in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky.
No, because Biscoff sounds like French, like France, and I only buy American.
We got to get you to try them, because they're really good. I like them a little bit better than I do the Nutter Butters. And I love Nutter Butters. I mean, I can sit there and dunk these things all day long. I love them. Biscoffs are phenomenal. So, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to the market tomorrow. I'll add them to the list.
No, if they don't have them, then I can send you some, or you can order them online. I think you can look them up online. You can order them. So, yeah, that's good stuff. So, now, we always end this with the After Action 10. But before we get into the After Action 10, as you reflect back on your time in the service, we all join with the notion of, hey, we could go to war. I mean, I remember sitting in the living room with Staff Sergeant Hill, who was my recruiter, right? I'm 17 years old. I wasn't even 18 yet. And he's talking to my mom and dad. My dad's doing exactly what you're doing there, stroking his beard. I don't even know what the hell's going on. My mom was sitting there shaking like a wet dog, like a wet chihuahua. She's nervous about her son joining the Army. We always knew that we could go to war, right? You're signing that check. Of course, the recruiter's sitting there going, we're not at war. It's all good, doing the recruiter thing, right? She ends up signing. I ended up going, and I got out right before the Gulf War. Actually, I got right before Panama. I got out in '89, June of '89 or July the 1st, '89. I left Germany in November of '89 as a civilian and came back. But you made that transit. Look, most veterans do what I did. They went in, they served their time, they got out, they never saw combat. And I was in a combat unit, but we just didn't go to war. You did. You got the call in that moment. Oh shit, you got a wife. You got at least one child at home. You got to ship off. And you're at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which, let's be honest, there's 2 or 3 divisions that get sent. The first, whenever the shit heats up, and it's the 101st, the 82nd, and either the 1st or 3rd ID. Those are the 3 divisions that get fucked, or maybe 1st Cav. Those are the 4 divisions that get tasked immediately when something hits the fan. That's that big. Now, I'm not talking about Marines and stuff. That's a different deal. In the Army, those are the first 4 divisions that get tapped every time. You went there. What was going through your mind? Right? You get over there, the media's hyping this shit up like, oh my God, Saddam's the mother of all battles. We're going to kill all the fucking Americans, all this other shit. We didn't know how well our toys worked then yet. We didn't know yet, right? That was the thing. We didn't know how good these things were going to be.
You remember the media was hyping it up. They got nerve agents, they got nerve gas, they got biological this, and chemical that. At first, and I just I feel a little bad about saying this, but I mean, at first it's like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna, you know, love my boys, and you know, and at the time, you know, my wife and whatnot, and you know, I hope to see them again and whatnot. But then, um, it's like you mentally you flip a switch. You're like, you know what, I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't let myself go down it, because I'm gonna end up on my knees crying, you know, and just,
Yeah.
you know, it ain't gonna work. Um, one of the best ways to describe it, to me anyway, is that if you watch, there's a scene in the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson
Great movie.
as you know, Lieutenant Colonel, or I believe Lieutenant Colonel
Yeah,
Moore.
Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore. Yeah.
He leaves his house, you know, and it's you know, 0200, 0300, whatever. He walks out of
Yeah.
his house.
It's a
He's got
great
his aid
scene.
bag. He's standing on the sidewalk. He just takes a
Just
deep
takes a
breath,
breath.
and
Yeah.
that's what that switch. That's the switch right there. Click,
That's it. Yeah.
and then he
Switching
turns
it
and
on.
walks away. Right? You got to put that behind you. That's what happened.
You know, it's probably true of most conflicts, especially when you're first confronted with that reality of, look, in the Cold War, we always knew it was a possibility, but that's different than, hey, we're starting some shit, come on, let's go. That's different than, you know, in Korea, there could be a conflict again. In West Germany, East Germany, there could be a conflict. Now
Right.
it's on, we're going to go down and start some shit, pack your shit and get in the back of the truck. Like, that's a different deal, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's probably a common thread, because I think you have to. Now, were you in a leadership role at that point? Were you an E5 at that
Yes.
point?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so-
was a team leader.
So you're a young sergeant, and you got guys under your command, and you're sitting here, and they're looking at you, right? They're looking at you. You're a squad leader, whatever. They're looking at you, saying, "Hey, what do we do?" Right? You know. And then what are you telling them?
Yeah.
What are you telling these kids? These are 18, 19-year-old kids.
Honestly, we never. I didn't feel I had to tell. I didn't feel I had to have a discussion with them. I mean, our platoon sergeant, and our platoon leader, you know, lieutenant. I mean, you know, they gave us, you know, this, you know, hoorah, you know, yada yada. But at the level, we never talked about it. We never.
They were good to go.
They were good to go.
Now they were 18, 19. You were what, 20, 21, or what? You were a young guy.
Yeah, I was about 20, 21. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so it's a lot to take in. Especially, you know, most 20-year-olds in the Army don't have a wife and two kids. So I mean, you're dealing with this other dynamic, right? That a lot of the other guys aren't dealing with, you know. But it's a switch.
Well, I mean, two of my guys were. I mean, they had wives. They had a little baby.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Now, were they strippers that they met in?
Hey!
Hey, what? I'm just saying.
It happens.
It does happen a lot more than people think. Now, we always wrap this up because we've been yapping on here for a while, which we'll have you come on again. We'll do some more bullshit and stuff. But we always end up with the after action 10.
The after action
10 rapid fire questions.
Got it.
Think of the first thing that comes to your mind and throw it out. No dicking around. No overthinking shit. Don't be like Randall Joy Esquire.
None of it.
Don't let that lean back, stroking the beard. Don't do that. What's
Got it.
one word that best describes you as a serviceman?
It's a psyche eval.
It is a psyche eval.
Dependable.
Dependable's good. You want dependable soldiers, don't you? I think that's a good trait. What smell, sound, or taste instantly takes you back to your time in the military?
Diesel and gunpowder.
You know, people don't realize about the diesel. Like I think I said it once before, but the logistics train that ran behind an armor battalion, and it'd be the same with aviation, with the jet fuel and stuff. All the trucks and the supply, it's diesel.
Yeah.
It's all fucking diesel. There's for every 16 or 64 tanks that are rolling forward, there's fucking 100 trucks chasing them behind them, you know, with fuel and food and ammo and all this shit.
Right.
It's all diesel. Smell that exhaust everywhere. Yeah. What's the best advice that an NCO officer or fellow service member ever gave you?
Slow down.
Slow down. Now were you a
Quit
young
being-
buck?
Quit being so fucking hard charging and fucking.
Now were
You
you?
know,
Was this?
sometimes think before you act. Yeah.
So that ranges from E1 to E4 when you heard that somewhere in there, maybe
Right,
multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen this movie. I think I know how it plays out. Who did you serve with that influenced you for better or worse? That most influenced you for the better or worse?
Platoon sergeant in Germany, Sergeant First Class Richards.
Richards. Okay, tell me about him.
He was very much. He knew how to motivate, and he knew how to keep things positive and make you laugh, even though you're like fuck this,
So he E6, E7, or where was he? E7.
E7. He was E7.
Yeah.
He was our
Yeah.
sergeant.
So he was a motivational type of platoon sergeant.
Oh, he would pick you up, emotionally or just and take a few minutes and get you get you to embrace the suck.
I would have to think, because you and I didn't serve together, even though we were probably only an hour apart over there. A lot of the fellow guys that you served with probably have the same recollection of him. He was that kind of guy that, that motivated.
I would hope so. Yeah, I mean, he was the most. I mean, he always, even when he'd be in front of formation, he'd be talking some serious stuff. Don't do this, don't do that, or all right, here's the training schedule. For next week, you're gonna be doing this, and this. But he would always throw some kind of curveball, some kind of humor. It's just.
So he had a way about him. Yeah, he had a way about him. Yeah, I like that.
That's not going to be so bad,
Now, what's the most ridiculous thing either you personally got away with while serving or that you witnessed somebody getting away with?
But
I don't know how much hijinks they were getting up to in Giebelstadt, but
yeah, I got nothing.
You got nothing?
See, here's my problem. Is I had such limited time in the barracks. Like I said, I was only in the barracks for like 3 months.
Well, that's true.
And then I was very low off post. I didn't.
Because you got married and you moved off post, so you missed that whole. Yeah, you missed the whole barracks experience.
Come release. I'm okay in my car and gone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if Germany was your second duty station, let's say you were a young guy, whatever, you get to E4, E5, you get married, whatever, then you go to Germany, you're missing out on all the shit, man, back then. You're missing out on all the crazy shit. Because you're living.
And I knew, I heard, and I had a few instances with my guys. Right. Then fuck.
Getting into some shit, right?
What do you mean it hurts when you pee? What fuck?
Now was there, what is the most trouble? This isn't part of the after action 10, although I think I need to make it part. What is the most trouble you ever saw anyone get into over there? Or just in general?
Would have been I can't remember if it was PFC or specialist, but Brocious.
Yeah.
When and you can Google it, Brocious, Giebelstadt murder, would have been
murder. Okay.
Maybe 88.
I was over there then. Yeah,
one of the 88. He was a mechanic. He was a mechanic for the unit. And,
like a light wheel guy, or was he a?
He murdered
a
dental hygienist, I believe she was.
A Joette? He murdered a Joette. That was wow. How about that? Why? And I assume they caught him and they.
Yeah, he went. From when it happened, it took maybe 24 hours later. And they had him. They had him as a suspect.
This was in Giebelstadt? Was this in Giebelstadt?
They had him arrested. Well, they took him from Giebelstadt. Actually, our infantry platoon had to pull security on him. They took him.
Okay.
They took him up because we didn't have a facility. We didn't have a brig on Giebelstadt.
Brig, yeah. You got to take him to Würzburg or somewhere.
So they took him to the FDC.
Okay.
there on Gieb and put him in a room that we used to use for our guard room, and
Right.
it didn't have a window.
Didn't have
And
window.
they, and
That's
they,
the
and
only
they, and
reason.
they,
Yeah.
and they put him in there, and they posted a guard out front, and then that's where he stayed. He was there. He was there for like 2 days, and then they moved him down to Leighton Barracks. Put him in a brig.
And then he's ended up where Mannheim,
And
Leavenworth. I don't
then
know.
he's Leavenworth.
Wow.
He actually, I just saw. God, maybe it was last year or 2 years ago. Or anyway, a little bit back where he was actually appealing his case. Which
Okay.
ain't gonna happen. I mean, he
Now,
did it.
was this a crime of passion kind of thing, or was this a?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
they had been dating, or they went out on a date, and he wanted the date to continue. She didn't, and
I
he
see.
got upset. And.
Yeah. See, I don't. I've never understood that whole shit. Right? Like to me, you don't want to fucking go out with me. You know what? Screw you. Right? You know what? Like, go about your business. Right? Like, I don't need
Right.
those problems in my life. I've never
And
understood anyway. So he.
At
Yeah.
the time,
Wow.
at the time that happened, I was unit armorer, and I showed up for Saturday. This was Friday night. I showed up on Saturday to issue weapons for post guard
Right.
from our unit, and they had it all. The parking lot was all taped, taped
All
off.
taped
and I'm
off?
like, no, you
Wow.
can't. And
Is that where it happened? Was that in the parking lot there?
Yeah,
Or was-
yeah.
Wow.
He tried. He pushed her. He pushed her under her car.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the MP was
Jeez
like, "No,
Louise,
you
man.
can't go in." And I said, "Well, I got to issue weapons." I said, "Otherwise, somebody's going to have to explain
Right,
to the post
yeah,
commander
right.
why our guys didn't show up for post guard."
Right.
So they escorted me in and gave the weapons,
Yeah,
and
and
they
did all that,
escorted
right.
them. Yeah, I mean, it worked out.
Wow. Well, it worked out for you.
Crazy.
Wow. Holy shit. What military phrase, cliche, or expressions never fail to piss you off when you hear them, or trigger you?
They don't. Nothing pisses me off. I mean, I just, but I continually say them. I mean, you got the knife hand gesture, just like Whit
You got
was
the
saying.
knife hand, right? Yeah.
Knife hand gesture. You got the clusterfuck. You got get out of my fucking AO.
Unasked my AO. Yeah. So
fucking
many.
Embrace.
I think I need to find a substitute question for that, because honestly, I don't know if any of them piss us off
No.
when we hear them. I think I need to rephrase that question. Well, what was your favorite cuss word? Excuse me, that's a Southern euphemism. Curse word, insult, or creatively assembled string of profanity that you picked up in the service?
For fuck's sake, I say all. And
For fuck's sake. So you had never really heard "for fuck's sake" before you?
for fuck's sake,
you
I
joined him?
never heard that growing up in Maine and whatnot. And I got to the army, and for fuck's sake, Howard, what the fuck,
So just all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And therein again lies that magical word, fuck. It's in the basis of so many things.
That definitely, for whatever reason, freaking impressed in my brain, and I've carried it on.
For fuck's sake.
To this day, that's my favorite. For fuck's sake.
I think the one that I picked up in the service, that, I mean, you pick up variations of the word fuck for sure, no doubt. But was shitbird. Shitbird was one of those things that I picked up. Somebody's a shitbird. Yeah, shitbird. I the first time I heard that, drill sergeant calling Private Snuffy, "What are you, fucking shitbird?" Whatever he was saying. I'm sitting here going, I don't know what a shitbird is, but that doesn't sound like it's a good thing. I'm like 17, 18, yeah. It's a fucking shitbird, right? So what drink best represents or reminds you of your time in the military?
Hefeweizen all the way.
Hefeweizen all the way. I think that'd be my pick too, to be honest with you. Yeah. That's a national pastime there, man. I mean, that Hefeweizen. What do you think of when I say Hefeweizen? What do you think of? What comes to your mind when I say Hefeweizen?
Oh, I'm freaking back in the beer garden. I'm on the river. I'm looking at the castle up on the bluff, and fucking.
Oh, Würzburg had the monastery up there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what comes to mind.
The monk beer up there, yeah.
And just the fests and the rolling hills and the villages and.
You remember the vineyards? They had the vineyards that would go up the sides of the mountains. All the vineyards, yeah.
Yep.
Drinking Hefeweizen. It reminds me of all the girls I picked up in discos, but I don't want to distract us from our conversation.
There's them beer maids that would come with like 6 steins at a time, you know.
Yeah, that was generally like at the beer fest. That wasn't like, usually at like the club or whatever, but yeah. So if you could spend one more night drinking with anyone from your military past, who would it be and where would you go?
It would be my my brother Jeff Watts.
Jeff Watts.
We weren't, especially after I got married or whatnot. I mean, we weren't attached to the hips, but we were good friends. I mean, we were.
Now, was this in Giebelstadt?
In Giebelstadt in Germany, yes. And he took. I mean, there were times. I mean, him and I would go out and raise hell and party with other infantry brothers or whatnot from the unit. And there would be times that he'd actually go with my wife and boys, and we'd go to the Frankfurt Zoo, which
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But he was a single guy, lived in the barracks. But to this day, I mean, we still we touch base, we keep track of each other. He lives in Arkansas with his family.
And when's the last time you saw Jeff?
We would go. I would take him. I mean, we'd find some German restaurant. We'd go down to Knoxville to the German restaurant.
Schultzbrow.
Yeah.
Schultzbrow, yeah. I kind of did sort of get thrown out of there last time I was there.
Well,
little stolen valor issue that I had to deal with.
Sounds like a missed opportunity.
Well, luckily for me, he was older than me, so I probably could have taken him if it had continued. But yeah, I think he got the point. So I think that's good.
That's all that matters, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So when you report to that final formation in the sky, what do you hope the first sergeant says to you before he assigns you a bunk? It's all over with, Howard. You're checking off this rock we call Earth. What do you hope he says to you?
That I got 100% on my PFT. Maybe just thanks for doing your best. Just
you left it all on the field. You left it all on the field.
As long as any soldier or even civilian, whatever. If you're giving it your best, then that's absolutely, truthfully, 100% your best, and you're not cutting it short. Then
good to go.
That's admirable.
Right. That's all you can hope for. Right. That's it.
Right. That's it.
I did my best. Well, we could probably sit here and talk, especially share stories about Germany and shit for another 3 hours. We could probably go on and on about it, but appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit, man. Sharing your story and hanging out and drinking. I haven't seen you drinking too much over there. You've been talking.
Well, what about the other 5 in the first report?
Well, that's true. We did have a couple of bourbons in the first take. Maybe that should be part of my plan. We'll do 3 takes. And by the 3rd take, we're so shit-faced. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. But anyway, cheers, brother. And I'll let you do the sign-off with your favorite war cry from your favorite unit. Go ahead.
All right. Rendezvous with Destiny. We Pierce.
There we all of it. Armor, aviation, we got it all in one deal there. Cheers, brother. Appreciate your time. We'll see you guys next time on the Booze Briefing. Later.
Dismissed.